Hello all, and this is the next video of the RxJS tutorial series, and in this video we are going to create create the observable using this event DOM event, just like click event or mouse move event. So for this the RxJS library has given the one function called FromEvent function. So this function is used for creating the observable using the DOM events, just like click and others, blur and mouse move. So let's import our from event function from our RxJS library. Import from event from RxJS. Okay, so let's create the source. Let source where the value will get produced, and we are creating the source from using from event function, and this from event function takes the two argument. First argument is the target, means the HTML element on which we are going to listen the any event. Okay, so we are listening the mouse move event on the screen, where whenever I am moving the mouse here, now it will print the coordinates of that x and y values of wherever the mouse pointer is there. Okay, so I'm listening the target is the document object. We are listening the event mouse move. Okay, now we have created the observable as a source here. So let's subscribe this source.subscribe, and we are passing the next handler here, and this next handler is just going to log the value on console. So console dot log, and we are going to log the x, whatever it will come, it simply logged on the console. So I saved it, and let's try. I'm just starting to move the mouse on the screen, and here we can find the mouse event object is printing on the console. So let's go ahead and giving the type as a mouse event. So this mouse event having two important property called client x and client y, that signifies the x coordinate and y coordinate on the screen. If you want to see that, so I'm going to print the x client, saved it, and now it will show the x coordinate or where is my cursor pointer is there. So let's draw a small circle here, and when I'm moving the mouse, that circle moves along with my mouse. Okay, so let's go to the index.html here, and let's create the div is there. I am giving the id as a circle. So we have given the circle as a div, but it is not seen on the screen because we have not given the style to look like a circle. So let's provide some fancy style. uh, so using style tag, style. Okay, finding this div by using the id, so using hash circle and provide the property here. So let's provide first width of 20 px. Next is height, which is 20 px also, and a background dash color, red color. I'm giving the red color. Let's save it. Now we can see the small rectangle. So let's make it as a circle by giving the property border radius, which is 50%. So as I saved, we can see the circle. Now let's give another property called position, because whenever we move the mouse, so it should move with our cursor. Okay, so the position should be absolute. Now the next step is, let's reference this circle in our index.ts file. At the starting, I can reference this div const. You can call it at circle by using document dot get element by id. This method can give the reference of the circle. Okay, this is the HTML element. Okay, so this instance having the style property, and we can provide the actual style to the this circle. Okay, so let's go in the subscription next handler and point that circle having the style property and having left property. So this left property identify that how much this circle is away from this left side. So means that it is the x value of the mouse event. Okay, so let's assign. I can call it as a C, because the C just like a coordinate, C dot client x, and this is the string property, and it accept in the pixel. Okay, so this x is integer and we can give as a px using concatenated the px string. Okay, same as the y coordinate also. So for the top, the style property having a top means this y value we can denote as a top property. Okay, so top equals to client y. So I'll save it, and we can see the magic here that mouse that circle is following our mouse pointer. This is the very good example to show the from event function, how it can work with the DOM event. But you can say that in real-time application we are not tracking the mouse circle on the mouse move event. We have actual real scenario like getting the data from the server, and when I click on something and it sends some request to the server, when the data came I just put on somewhere and show it. So we can handle that scenario in just a moment. So let's set up this kind of scenario on our application. So I'm get rid of this circle from. Let's go to the HTML. I don't want the CSS here, this style, and I just need, I don't want the circle either. So let's create a simple button having the ID called button, which are going to click means whenever the button get click, the request is go to the server and fetch some data, fetch some movie data, and then we can show on the some div here. And let's create a simple div to output the data which will come from the server. So I'll give the ID as output. Let's close it. I think I have to close this like button. Okay, now we have a button called get movie. So we have one button and one div. Okay, so let's go to our index, get rid of this circle, and we don't want the circle reference here. We call it as the button, and we are referencing the button here, and now our target is the button, and we are observing the event called click. Okay, so whenever this button will get click, we do the action and we go to the server and fetch the data from server and show on this output div. Okay, so that's our plan of action. So whenever the button get clicks, we end up in the our next handler. For producing the data, I will create the file here called movies.json. Movies, that is our source data. Okay, so I'm clicking here. Now I have prepared some data. This is my JSON data. They need a double code having 3 movies, which is MS Dhoni, MS and Star Trek, and Hulk, which will come on the HTTP request. Okay, so let's go to the index.tx, our main file. We have grabbed the reference of button. Now let's grab the reference of output div. Here also output. Okay, we have our button and div. Now in subscription, whenever the button get clicked, we have to go request to the HTTP. Okay, for that let's create the let XML request HTTP request object. Let I'll call it at xhr equals to new x XML HTTP request object, having the open method which take the type of request which are going to send. So this is the get request, and we are uh, we are giving the next argument as a URL, movies.json. Okay, so I'll put this in the function. Okay, I'll call it as a function load, and which takes the URL, and we will provide the type as a string. Okay, and in this we will provide the URL here. Okay, and this URL will get here. And after that we are going to send the request to the server. So xhr dot send, having send method. So this HTTP request is a asynchronous, means we don't know the when the data will come, and this xhr having the event called load, and we want to subscribe that. So we can add the event listener, and on this event listener means we want to add the event called load, means whenever the data get loads, second argument is a callback. Okay, so when the data get loads, this callback will called. Okay, so here let movies equals to, we are going to parse the xhr response text. The response text contains the response of our JSON movie. Okay, so this is in the form of text, and we are going to pass into the JSON. So this movies will contain, this movies object will contain our 3 movies. Okay, so let traverse this movie of movies, let here. Okay, okay, let's let movies. Now we are going to create a div. Let div equals to document dot create element, and we can pass here the div will be create dynamically, and we are going to set the value as an inner HTML text, the movie dot title property is there, title. Okay, okay, so and this div will append to our output div dot append child. So we are almost complete. Okay, just let's see our code is working or not. So let's click on the movie button. So whenever we click on the button, it goes to the server and get the movies data. So every time I click, it will append the movies which we written from the server. So we can see that the how from event can use for creating the observable from a DOM event.
If we closely look into the load method, this load method is doing multiple tasks such as getting the data from the server and appending the movies into the DOM. Okay, so let's refactor it and do it in a RxJS way. Okay, so I'm creating one method called append movie function. This append movie will take an argument as a array of string called movies called I'm giving the type as array of string, and I'm moving this appending logic into that function. This movies object is the list of movies and having the title property, so I'm removing this type. Okay, so we are going to create a observable, and this load function will return the observable. Okay, so let result equals to, we are creating the observable by observable dot create function as we see in the last video. So create, so this create function taking the function, and that function having the argument as observers. I, I'm calling it observer. Okay, and moving this all code into that function, and now I'm returning this observable from this load function return. Okay, now we have a movies next method. This movies will get passed to the subscriber, so I'm passing the next, and we are now further getting the movie from this event. Let complete the complete our observable obs dot complete by calling the complete method. Okay, and now this load method is returning the observable, so we can give the return type also here, observable of, I can give the any type, it's a generic function. Okay, so now this load function is returning the observable. So if you want to get the values, so we need to subscribe it. In the next handler, we can get the movies, and that movies are going to append on screen. Okay, so I'm calling the append movie function. Now let's save it and let's see does it work or not. Yeah, it's working fine. Okay, so in this way we can create observable using from event and create functions. As we seen that the from event function can create the observable from DOM event, but it also can create the observable from load event of XML HTTP request object also. So let's create the observable. Let, we can call it movies, and from event, this will take the target as a XHR object and listen the event load. Okay, now we can subscribe it like this, dot subscribe. Okay, we have converted our code in totally in a RxJS way. So this load function is returning the observable, and this XHR load event is also producing the observable, and we are subscribing that observable, uh, and above that the create function, inside the create function we are returning the movies array. This source will subscribe the click event, and in that the load event is producing the movies as a observable, and we are subscribing that observable and appending the movies into the DOM. So let's check it. So it is working fine. So in this way we can work with the from event function and create function to create the observable. In the next video we are going to see the operators from the RxJS library. There are the huge number of operators are provided in this library, and they are very useful. We will see in the next video. Thanks for watching.